Okay, Rambam, the laws we're learning of robbery. We're not teaching how to become a robber. Teaching the laws. Although Rab, Reb Zusha from Anipol, contemporary of the Alter Rebbe, said you can learn 7 things from actually it was a thief, not a robber, from a thief. Yeah, not a robber. Yeah, but another time we'll get into that. I have to look it up. Okay, we're in chapter 7. Whenever a person becomes financially obligated to a fellow Jew, denies that obligation, and takes a false oath to support his denial. Should the latter admit his obligation, he's liable to return the principal that he denies, plus a surcharge of 1/5 of the new total. And 1/5 meaning $100, a fifth of it is 25. That's a quarter. When you do 125, huh? No, listen.
Oh, okay, right, understood.
When you take 125 and add it to 120, the 25 becomes now a fifth.
Yeah.
So it's of the new total, it's a fifth, not of the original amount, right? Different way to do math, all right? He's also liable to bring a sacrifice, which is called a guilt offering for robbery. Okay, the above applies to any of the following: one who robbed, one who withheld money due to a colleague. That's one instance, right? One who stole, right? Okay, that's what we always think of a robber. But robber doesn't just mean that, right? You're withholding money from that's due to a colleague, and then you took an oath, right? And then you admit later after that that was dishonest, right? Sorry, where were we? Yeah, so one who stole, okay, that's clear. One who took a loan, right? He took a loan and now he's saying, I don't owe you. One who and took an oath, right? That's the important thing. He took an oath based on that, right? And then admitted. One who was given an entrusted article, meaning, I gave you my Rolex that I don't have, but I gave it to you for safekeeping, right? I don't even have a watch, let alone a Rolex. Oh, I do. I have my phone. Yeah. One who discovered a lost article and denied it, right? That's also the laws of robbery. A partner with whom money belonging to the partnership remained, and you denied. And an employer for whom the worker performed work, all right, and he's holding back money from him, but was not paid, right? Those are the instances we're talking about. To state a general principle, whenever a person who admitted, right? What did he admit? The obligation would be obliged by law to pay. He must pay as he took an oath in court that he doesn't owe money to the worker. He doesn't owe money to the person who says, I took a loan from him, right? Never, I didn't steal. I didn't withhold money from a colleague or an entrusted object, all those instances, right? And he took an oath and then admitted that he does owe. The obligation would be obligated by law to pay. He must pay the principal and a fifth if he denies his obligation. As the verse says, if he denies his colleague's claim regarding the entrusted object, then it says there you got to pay a fifth. When does the above apply? When the person is obligated to pay because of his own actions. When, however, he is liable because of his father, he's not liable for the additional fifth. What does that mean? If his father robbed or stole or was in debt to others, and his son knew of the matter, and after the father's death, right, the son knew about it, right? After the father's death, the son denied the claim, took an oath, and afterwards admitted his liability. He need pay only the principal. That he has to pay, right? Because he's the heir. So now he has to pay the principal, not the fifth. Why? Because the verse says, and he obtained by robbery, implying that the one who is liable for an additional fifth for one's own robbery, but not for the robbery committed by his father. Got it? So he has to pay. That's not the question. The question is about the fifth, right? When does the above apply? When the object obtained by robbery no longer exists. Different law applies, however. We're talking about now in the son, right? And the son is liable to return the value of the article obtained by robbery, but not the article itself because it doesn't exist anymore, right? Different laws apply, however. The person's father's obtained an object by robbery, then died, and the object still exists. If the heirs deny his obligation, takes an oath to the effect that he doesn't owe it, right? And then admits his liability, is liable for the principal and the additional fifth. Why? Because in this instance, the heir himself is obligated to return the object obtained by robbery. Failing to do so, attempting to avoid his obligation by taking a false oath is equivalent to taking the article from the rightful owner. Therefore, he is liable for the additional fifth. Got that? Yeah, is that clear? Yeah?
Clear?
Clear?
Clear.
Okay. If the father committed robbery, took a false oath, admitted his guilt, and then died, he must pay the principal and the additional fifth. Right, because that obligation is already there, even though the son, the heir, has no part in that. But the obligation is there, and since now he's the heir of his estate, the estate owes this. It owes the fifth, and you can't take the fifth. You have to give the fifth. If a father committed robbery, took a false oath, and then died, right, before admitting, and the heir admitted his father's guilt, the heir is liable to pay only the principal, right? Because the heir admitted. The heir didn't take an oath. It's only because once he admits, he owes the fifth, but he died before he admitted. So therefore, the fifth was not an obligation. In either instance, the heir is not obligated to bring a guilt offering. Okay, amazing. I'd love to continue, but we have work to do. Folks, please reach out to your friends and ask them to help. Even if it's one person that will give because of you, that's amazing. Even if it's just one person, reach out at least to one person, if not more. That will help in the campaign. We're extending the campaign because we're only at 50%. So we didn't have enough time to prepare the campaign beforehand because of the holidays, and we did it earlier this year. So therefore, what we have to do is extend it. Oh, that's okay. So thank you. All the best. God bless. Good
God bless.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.